I pledge allegiance to the rag of the United West Side Connection and to the W for which it stands, one neighborhood, under God, invincible, with luxuries and riches for all.
Who-Bangin on the Transformers.
Hey, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Who-Bangin Sports.
Fuck that, you know
It's
how
your boy Wham.
Can't get enough of this
Big Boss.
It's the Don. Go let them know. Unwettable.
Who-Bangin Sports, y'all.
We got them picks for y'all, you know what I'm saying?
What's going on, Wham? What's going on, Wham?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. I'm right here ready to get it in, man. It's week 2. Who-Bangin Sports. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep.
What you got going on today? How you feeling today, bro?
Same old, same old. Just off that little Eminem vibe, you know.
Ain't you?
I'm ready to
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Going at it to everybody.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody can get it. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody can get it.
Hey, let's go over the games of the week last week. You know, how was your week last week?
Hey, I was solid though, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's time to bounce back because, you know, you got the first week, you got to be able to check out certain things, but, you know, I hit 1-0. I had the Washington State on the full game. What about yourself, bro? How you feel? How you did?
I had a good Saturday and everything went bad on Sunday. Tried to make it up on Monday and even worse. But, you know,
man.
I'm down like 4 or 5 units. It's okay, though. You know, I got
It's all
some
good,
college NCAA football wins in.
Yeah.
I was a little too aggressive on my picks. But, you know, I've regrouped the whoop and I'm about to change the game, right?
That's right.
Let's go over them picks from last week. So last week we had our pick 6 picks that we bring to y'all every week.
Yes,
pick
sir.
6 picks.
Yes, sir.
So last week, pick 6 picks, we had Notre Dame in the Notre Dame-Michigan game. We had Auburn versus Washington. We had Washington.
Yep.
And then in the Washington State-Wyoming game, we had a challenge.
We had a challenge on that one, yeah. You had the first half, right?
I only had the first half. Wyoming was up 16-13 first half.
16-13. Couldn't do nothing with that.
Cashed that.
Yep, he cashed that first half, and then I had the full game. After that, you know, the Will Orr machine that I was telling y'all about by Washington State, it started to get in effect. They got to get their jitters out, you know what I mean? And then, boom, everything worked out for them at the full game, though. But if you would have told us on that one, you would have clashed both of them.
Double whammy.
Trouble, yep, say them up.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, what happened to the rest of them?
We had North Carolina Cal game. Ended up being a push, 24-17. Cal ended up stepping out there playing pretty tough.
I like Cal.
You know, so,
I like Cal this year.
It looked like the books was right about even right there, so we ended up even too.
Yep.
But things got really bad early in the morning, right? I was really discouraged. Oklahoma FAU, I was high on the FAU with Lane Kiffin, plus 21 points. Oh my God. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't catch. They couldn't pass. And Oklahoma did a pretty decent job of rolling over them. It was a pretty brutal massacre.
And they kind of baited us into that, though.
Yeah.
They baited us into it. They know Lane Kiffin is a betting coach. 21 points in the opener. That kind of sounds like it wasn't, should have been there, but at the end of the day, you know,
63-14.
They got smashed, you know, and they couldn't tackle. Right?
They couldn't
tackle.
They couldn't catch.
Blown the
They couldn't throw. It was ridiculous.
It was all over the place, yeah.
Monday night, nothing to do. Might as well watch the game, right? So, that was the Florida State game. My bad. Sunday night. Sunday night.
Been a brutal
Sunday
weekend.
night was Miami and LSU. I was high on the turnover chain. Wham was already telling me in the show. If you watched the show last week, he was like, "You too high on the turnover chain." I don't even think they had no turnover. It was so bad. Miami really stunk up the field.
The power of the turnover chain, I forgot to tell you off camera, but the power of the turnover chain is starting to get diminished because everybody copying the turnover chain, bro. They got turnover bracelets now.
Turnover throne.
Bro, come on, man.
But that summed up my Sunday. I really went the wrong way on that one. And then Monday, the Florida State game, Florida State kind of disappointed me too. And, you know, they got Whomped on, too.
Whopped on.
And,
Whopped on by Virginia Tech. They got the defense out there, man. Virginia is pressed Virginia for sure.
Virginia
Not
was
only
nice.
just in
VT was nice.
basketball. It's in college football too. They was whooping on that ass. But yeah, man, that's how we feeling right now. That's the recap. I mean, for the most part, we ain't gonna have these type of situations happen that much often because coaches are gonna start to tell people this is where you need to be at and this is what you should be doing, and then after that they're gonna start making changes, and then you're gonna be able to tell the truth.
And I kind of look at it like this, you know, it's the first week out. I was kind of expecting more interceptions, scooper scores, you know, stuff like that. But it really didn't come through like that, like I thought it was. But in some areas, things did, you know, what they did.
Yeah,
so
for real though.
My point to you guys is be careful of the energy that you carry over into next week, because some of these first weeks, I mean, really go back and watch the highlight film and see what really happened in those games. Like some of those games were close at one point, and it just kind of got away just from little silly mistakes and stuff. So before you go out there just tossing your bankroll around, make sure you look at the team, study the highlights, you know, do your homework, you know, tune in to the money game, tune in to the low bag, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
get some nice information out there.
Get some nice information out there, you know. Shout out to SBR, shout out to the Money Gang. You know, shout out to everyone that support Who-Bangin Sports. Myself, Wham, this your boy DJ Boss. This is how we gonna do it. That's good. Week 2.
Week 2. What up, sports fan? This is DJ Big Boss on the Who-Bangin Sports Talk Show. I'm just out here just to give you guys a good insight on the Mountain West. I'm going to take a quick dive into the Mountain West, just give a couple informations and opinions of my own. Let's take a look out here at the Mountain Division. First off, leader of the pack, Boise State. Boise State quarterback had 305 yards, 4 TDs. Wide receiver Sean Moster had 67 yards, 2 TDs. And quarterback Tyler Hudlin got to sit on the turnover throne. That's one of those new things like Miami with the turnover chain, but they got a throne. Okay, turnover throne. Got to sit on that twice in the game. This week, matchup, they played UConn. UConn's not too tough of an opponent, but they're favored by 33.5. This is the second meeting between the two teams. UConn is no test on the Boise State Bluegrass. Next, I'm going to go over to Utah State. Utah State fought a tough fight against Michigan, and I respect them for that. Even though they lost, they fought a tough fight. This is a really good team. This week, they play New Mexico State. They're minus 24, and I expect them to score. Next in the Mountain West, we have Wyoming. Now, Wyoming last week had a 19-41 loss to Washington State. Although Wyoming did lead at the half 16-13, Washington State just proved to be too much in the air and on the ground to this Wyoming team who has a pretty solid defense, just not the caliber of Washington State. Next up, we have Air Force. Air Force last week had a 38-0 home win against some team called Stony Brook. But it was a pretty good game. They started off for a little while. There was a rain delay. They came back. They continued to do what they was doing. They beat them. This week they have FAU. They're plus 10 points. I really like Air Force in this one. They looked really strong last week. The running game that they used was working. We'll see what happens. Next up, Colorado State. This team has been a disaster. They can't tell a foot from their head. This week they play Arkansas. They're plus 13. I don't think this Mountain West matchup is going to be much. Looks like a debacle in the making. After that, we move on over to New Mexico. New Mexico, against the spread, I don't know. Last week they were 62-30 against a team called Incarnate Word. I have no idea where this team is. It may just be the Gridiron Gang. But this week they face Wisconsin, and I'm so happy. They deserve the karma that they put out. I don't think that these teams should be playing teams that they have no business playing. They should really reach out and play teams worth playing. Okay, so I hope Wisconsin kick their head through their face. Get them. So let's move on to the West. First off, we got Fresno State. Last week they were 79-13 over Idaho. I wasn't sure if this score was right when I first looked at it, but this show was full of numbers. They had 5 interceptions, 2 blocked field goals, 7 passing TDs. They had 79 points in the game against a very bad Idaho team. This week they see Minnesota. I'm off this game. First week jitters, luckiness, whatever. This Minnesota team played a pretty good game last week. I'm just going to sit back and watch the game. Next up, we got San Diego State. Tough loss for them last week against Stanford. They came out really doing what they are good at, which is the offensive line and the running. The running back over there is really tough. The offensive line is really tough. And this week, they go out and they face Sacramento State. We probably won't get a line. They deserve, after playing a tough week last week against Stanford, they deserve to actually whoop on somebody. So, it is what it is. Next, we have UNLV. UNLV lost to USC last week, 21-43. They actually was really on them in the first half if you watch the game. But the Coliseum just kind of kicked in, the fans kicked in, and they just drowned out with the crowd. Next, we have Nevada. Last week, they had a 72-19 home victory over Portland State. Now, Portland State plays Oregon this week. I'm not sure about this team, if it's a really caliber team that you really should be playing. But they did a good job on beating them. This week, they see Vanderbilt out the SEC. Vanderbilt should come put the heat on them. They weigh more. They move better. This is going to be something they really haven't seen yet. I definitely take Vandy in the first half. Next, we have San Jose State. San Jose State last week they were upset by UC Davis. They shouldn't have been playing UC Davis in the first place. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right? Shout out to UC Davis for putting their foot in San Jose State face. This week they play Washington State, and guess what? They're going to get another foot up in their face for even attempting that kind of crap. Next, we have Hawaii. Hawaii's been looking really good on offense. And guess what? Hawaii's going to be at home this week versus Rice. Rice did a good job last week in the first half, but Rice, they got a pretty rough schedule. They're not going to do too much this year. You know, you got the Hawaii home game, time difference, and all that kind of stuff, and a high-power offense coming at you. Look at Hawaii to score like they do at home. And, you know, this is a good spot for Hawaii. You know, Rice even had to buckle up to beat Prairie View. So, Hawaii should have their way with this Rice team. I like Hawaii all the way. So, that's my breakdown of week 2 of the Mountain and the Mountain West over in the Mountain West. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you can take any information, turn it, flip it, turn it into a win. Fade me, trail me, do what you got to do. Shout out to the Money Gang. Shout out to the Low Bag Show. Shout out to the SBR Network and the SBR Picks. Appreciate y'all love and support. This is DJ Big Boss, and I'm out. All right, sports fans.
Yeah.
Here come the good stuff.
Let's go.
Our pick 6 picks of the week.
With 2.
And I hope y'all scoop and score. Ooh. So, you know, these are carefully selected games that we use for our pick 6 picks of the week right here on the Who-Bangin Sports Talk Show. Mm-hmm. So, Wham, I'm going to go through the line and give you the games. You can give you your picks. Okay. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to go through the same games and I'm going to tell you my picks. Okay, I got you. So, Wham. Number 11, Michigan State at Arizona State. Yes. Michigan State right now is at 6.5. Mm-hmm. The over-under's at 56.5. What you think?
Okay, so Michigan State, they got a lot of good prospects. They're really, you know, they have a really good quarterback, but sometimes he does do a little too much. You know what I mean? He tries to overdo things at points, and the way, you know, they got exposed by Utah State on the first game, it kind of showed exactly what happened there. I actually like Arizona State in this game just because their coach, first-year coach in first year at Arizona State, Herm Edwards. Okay. This is his first year. He got everyone in the same spots that they need to be in. They got they got linebackers taking pick six to the house. They got a lot of defensive linemen. I'm sorry, defensive linemen taking picks to the house, and on top of that, they got one of the best wide receivers that's due to go into the NFL draft next year, and N'Keal Harry. I'm sorry, but it's one of those weird names. You gotta look at it and read it twice. I'm sorry, but on the most part, I like Arizona State just because they got 6.5 points opening up. The line is moving against me though. You know what I'm saying? The line is moving against me, but I'm gonna take the 7 points on Arizona State. I like what's going on. I like how they got everybody on the same page.
Well, I got 6.5 right now, so I'm gonna give you Arizona State plus 6.5. Okay. Now the next game coming up is UCLA at number 7 Oklahoma. What you think about that game? We got Oklahoma at minus 30.5.
Okay.
With an over under at 6-4. Where you at with that? So
in this game, this one is one of those things that I feel like UCLA is going to get smashed, but I cannot take such a big hefty line on a school that that goes out and gets players that really do their recruiting. So at that point, I kind of can't take the 30 points. I'm more leaning towards the over. I've seen that some of the sharps are under. The line isn't moving on the 64. It's kind of staying where it is right there. Even though 60% of the consensus is on the over right now, I'm being contrarian on this one. I'm gonna take the over in that game.
Okay, so we got you down for the over in the Oklahoma game.
Let's go.
How about this Arizona-Houston game?
Okay. So I like Houston. Houston is gonna be one of my dark horses. It reminds me of how and this is a crazy analogy, but it reminds me of SMU was in the college basketball when they had Oshale, back when they got to the little run. Yeah. It reminds me like that on Houston. The only difference is that they got the number 1 overall projected NFL start running back. Defensive lineman, and I forgot his name, but he's a beast. I forgot his name. He's a beast, but it's Ed Oliver, a crazy beast. He's going to be really disruptive on the pass, and then on top of that, Arizona is kind of all over the place. They're trying to make Khalil Tate, into something that he's really not. They're trying to take him into being a quarterback athlete that's a quarterback instead of being a quarterback that's an athlete. That's one of the quotes that Kevin Sumlin said to the reporter. So I'm thinking that they're going to be all in this young kid's head, trying to change him. He's a Heisman hopeful. His confidence could go easily down. And if that's the case, going against one of the top defensive linemen and the top defensive lineman in the nation in Houston, in my opinion, I think that's a no-brainer. Take the 4 points with Houston.
Houston
on that one, yes sir.
-4. I got
yes,
you,
sir.
bro.
Yes, sir.
Houston -4. Okay, Air Force, FAU. FAU's -9 in this one, and we got an over/under of 65.5.
I'm gonna make this really quick. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of running on the ball on here. There's not gonna be that many passing opportunities in this game. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of running, and the clock is gonna run. Just give me the under on the 65. I'll take the under in the FAU game.
When I got you down for the under.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this New Mexico State, Ohio State game? They got. I'm sorry. New Mexico State, Utah State, folks. New Mexico State, Utah State. We got Utah State -24.
Okay.
Over under is 60. Where you at with that?
So Utah State did it real good last week against what was it? Arizona? Was it Arizona? I'm sorry. It was it was Michigan State. Michigan State, they did really good against Michigan State. And Michigan State has a really a lot high prospect people that they just brought in and recruiting. So I feel like Utah State minus the 24 may be a play because we seen New Mexico State do some suspect things already this year. So I feel like they could be prone to getting blown out.
I'm on the 24.
I'm on the 24 on that one. I'm on the 24. But that's more like a lean. That's not a really official pick. That's more like a lean just because I don't know if New Mexico State could bring that same type of intensity. But I feel like the 24 points is like, that's a strong lean.
So what you think about Nevada and Vanderbilt?
Okay.
We got Vandy at -9 with an over of 61.5.
So I'm taking the over on this game for sure. And I like Vandy on this game too. But I like the over more because I like the way that both teams have a fast-paced tempo. Both teams kind of play fast. And Vandy is real strong. They SEC, so they strong. So at the end of the day, I'll take the over though. That's kind of how I'm feeling on that. But, what you think, boss?
So
you think, boss?
we only got a few minutes left. I'm gonna run through my pick 6 picks of the week.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the Michigan State Arizona State game.
You ain't really decided yet?
I'm kind of off that game. I really like Arizona
Okay.
State. The
Okay.
defensive line over there, they scored a touchdown out the air last week. It was wonderful. And number 11, Michigan State, they kind of sitting on the brick for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And ASU's mobile quarterback is nice. And what I like most of all about the Arizona State team is they have good enthusiasm.
Okay.
A real motivated bunch that'll take you far.
Okay.
Next, I got UCLA versus Oklahoma.
I like that game.
Plus 30.5 with a team like
Okay,
UCLA. And I don't think Oklahoma, I don't know. I'm going to go on the edge and I'm going to go ahead and take UCLA plus the 30.5. Then we got Arizona State and Houston. I took a good look at that game. Houston looks really nice, but Arizona doesn't look that bad by themselves. So
Okay.
I'm off that game.
You off that one?
Yeah, but when I move over into the Mountain West,
Yeah.
I'm looking at Air Force and FAU. And the only thing I can see from looking at it is under. Air Force runs the 3 running back game pretty well, so the ball's going to be on the ground. And last week, FAU couldn't catch, tackle, or even throw the ball. So they got a lot to do, on their offense. Over
And
there.
that's a tale of Big Boss. I'm telling him on my underplay. I'm telling him. So
yeah.
I just did my picks first, but I'm telling him on that.
So I'm going to take the under on that one. Then we got New Mexico State and Utah State. Utah State, after the tough game they played against Michigan State, they deserve a soft spot right here. New Mexico State, they kind of thin. They don't really do much well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and go with, the fans and go with Utah State minus 24.
Man.
And last but not least, this is my actual pick of the week.
Okay.
So my pick 6 pick of the week is going to be Vandy by 9 over Nevada. This Vandy team, they represent the size and the capabilities of the SEC. And going in here against Nevada, I don't think Nevada is really ready. Well, actually, with Nevada coming to them, And another thing is, Vandy's not going to invite you to their home to play unless they're ready to give you a beatdown.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Vandy. They just too big. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking Vandy in that game.
I like that, bro.
And that's our pick 6 picks of the week.
Yeah, we
Once
appreciate
again, that's our pick 6 picks of the week. This is the Who-Bangin Sports Talk Show. Shout out to all that support us.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Trail us, tell us. Hey, fade us if you like.
Do it. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. But get your money while you're doing it.
Have fun and get your money.
Get your money while you're doing it. And we appreciate
money.
y'all. Tune in for the next one. We'll be back in a brief moment from our sponsors.